Humanity's greatest desire is to belong and connect. And now we see each other. We hear each other, and this connection is changing the way the world works. Governments are trying to keep up.
And now we can test the freedom.
And older generations are concerned.
Many people are very concerned about tomorrow.
They could get worse next year.
Wow! Congratulations. I can hear him.
Every single person in the world started this way. He didn't choose where or when he was born.
Yeah, he died.
But because he's here, he matters.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you. You made it.
My name is Jason Russell, and this is my son, Gavin. He was born into a pretty complicated world. And as a dad, I want him to grow up in a better world than I did. And because of the course of events in my life, I see a way to get there. It has become my job.
Who are you to end a war?
Years before Gavin was born, the course of my life was changed entirely by another boy.
And who's this right here?
Jacob.
Who's Jacob?
Jacob is our friend in Africa.
It's been almost 10 years since Jacob and I became friends. But when my friends and I first met him in Uganda, in Central Africa, it was in very different circumstances. He was running for his life. The night I first met Jacob, he told me what he and other children in northern Uganda were living through.
We worried the rebel, when they raise us again, then they will kill us. My brother tried to escape. Then they killed using panga. They cut his neck.
Did you see it?
I saw.
We fear that if we sleep at our home, we can be abducted by the rebels because our home is far away from town.
They will catch us, then they will take us there in the bush. So come here to save our life.
After spending a few weeks with Jacob, he told me something I would never forget.
So it is better when you kill us. And if possible, you can kill us, you kill us. For us, we don't want now to stay because
you don't want to stay on Earth.
We are only two, no one taking care of us. We are not going to school. So
you would rather die than stay on Earth.
Yes.
Even now.
Even now. How are we going to stay in our future?
He told me more about his brother and what he would say to him if he were still alive.
I love you, but now I miss you. So it is better when we meet. We are going, even if we are not going to meet, but we may meet in heaven, you see. So it is better. I will not talk much. I will start something. Because if I saw my brother once again, I don't.
But time is running out. To level with you, this movie expires on December 31st, 2012. And its only purpose is to stop the rebel group, the LRA, and their leader, Joseph Kony. And I'm about to tell you exactly how we're going to do it. I couldn't explain to Gavin the details of what Joseph Kony really does. Because the truth is, Kony abducts kids just like Gavin. For 26 years, Kony has been kidnapping children into his rebel group, the LRA, turning the girls into sex slaves and the boys into child soldiers. He makes them mutilate people's faces. And he forces them to kill their own parents. And this is not just a few children. It's been over 30,000 of them. And Jacob was one of those children. As if Kony's crimes aren't bad enough, he is not fighting for any cause, but only to maintain his power. He is not supported by anyone, and he has repeatedly used peace talks to rearm and murder again and again. This is the head prosecutor for the International Criminal Court. In 2002, when the court was started, their job was to find and demand the arrest of the world's worst criminals. The perversity of KONY's crimes made him first on the court's list.
The crimes basically are these: crimes against humanity and war crimes committed against the civilian population, including murder, sexual slavery, rapes, abductions. We need to plan how to arrest KONY.
It's obvious that KONY should be stopped. The problem is 99% of the planet doesn't know who he is. If they knew, KONY would have been stopped long ago. When my friends and I came home from Uganda, we thought that if the government knew, they would do something to stop him. But everyone in Washington we talked to said there is no way the United States will ever get involved in a conflict where our national security or financial interests aren't at stake. We built a community around the idea that where you live shouldn't determine whether you live. We were committed to stop KONY and rebuild what he had destroyed. And because we couldn't wait for institutions or governments to step in, we did it ourselves. We created jobs. And we built an early warning radio network on the front line of the war to protect villages from rebel attacks. All of this was funded by an army of young people who put their money toward their belief in the value of all human life. So with hundreds of thousands of people with us, we went back to Washington, D.C., and we met with congressmen and senators one by one on both sides, Republicans, Democrats, and they all agreed with us. Joseph KONY's crimes had to be stopped. And what I was told would never happen suddenly became possible.
In furtherance of the Congress's stated policy, I have authorized a small number of U.S. forces to deploy to Central Africa to provide assistance to regional forces that are working toward the removal of Joseph KONY from the battlefield. Sincerely, Barack Obama.
After 8 years of work, the government finally heard us. And in October of 2011, 100 American advisors were sent into Central Africa to assist the Ugandan army in arresting KONY and stopping the LRA. It was the first time in history that the United States took that kind of action because the people demanded it. Not for self-defense, but because it was right. We've come so far, but KONY is still out there. He's recently changed his tactics, making it even more difficult to capture him. And international support could be removed at any time. It's hard to look back on some parts of human history, because when we heard about injustice, we cared, but we didn't know what to do. Too often, we did nothing. But if we're going to change that, we have to start somewhere. So we're starting here with Joseph KONY, because now we know what to do. Here it is. Ready? In order for KONY to be arrested this year, the Ugandan military has to find him. In order to find him, they need the technology and training to track him in the vast jungle. That's where the American advisors come in. But in order for the American advisors to be there, the US government has to deploy them. They've done that, but if the government doesn't believe the people care about arresting KONY, the mission will be canceled. In order for the people to care, they have to know, and they will only know if KONY's name is everywhere. This is the dream. KONY arrested for all the world to see, and the abducted children returned home. Here is how we're going to make him visible. We are going to make Joseph KONY a household name. We are targeting 20 culture makers and 12 policymakers to use their power for good. Let's start with the 20 culture makers, celebrities, athletes, and billionaires have a loud voice, and what they talk about spreads instantly. We've identified the 12 policymakers that could change the game regarding KONY, so we're targeting them. On our website, we've made it easy to write them directly, call them, meet with them, and get their attention. Our goal is to change the conversation of our culture and get people to ask, who is Joseph KONY? We have printed hundreds of thousands of posters, stickers, yard signs, and flyers that are right now, today, being put up in major cities all over the world. We have thousands of KONY 2012 bracelets that we want everyone to wear, this year only. Each bracelet has a unique ID number. Input that number and you enter the mission to make KONY famous. Everything you need is in a box called the Action Kit. It has 2 bracelets, one for you and one to give away. And if you want to help fund our life-saving programs, donate a few dollars a month through Try, and you can have the Action Kit for free. All of these efforts will culminate on one day, April 20th, when we cover the night. This is the day when we will meet at sundown and blanket every street in every city till the sun comes up. We have reached a crucial time in history where what we do or don't do right now will affect every generation to come. Arresting Joseph KONY will prove that the world we live in has new rules, that the technology that has brought our planet together is allowing us to respond to the problems of our friends.